Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Empowerment Moment with Dr. G. Yours truly. I am just returning back from being in Ghana just about a few days ago, and still in transit. So when I got to Ghana, I decided to go in for a new look. So I don't know, Sana, how you like my new look that just making everybody get all confused?
No, I love it. It makes you look younger.
So I got back from Ghana at Haven International, and I tell you, I got back to my work for a few days, and I can't tell you how many people walk right past me. They're like, "Who are you? Where's Genevieve? What'd you do with her?" So it's just a new test. It's a test to see how we can change it up a little bit. So I'm so excited that you all can join us tonight. It's our empowerment moment with Dr. G. And for this month, I'm just gonna just share a little bit of a text that I was reading the other night. And then it's also kind of like a reflection of our experiences when we went to Ghana. So just to kind of share a little bit about everyone, I want to welcome Ms. Alana who joined us in the Zoom room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So excited that you could be here to just kind of hear a little bit about what we do and what we talk about. For those who might not know, my goal as an organization is just to support families facing autism and other intellectual disabilities. And our vision has always been to create connections, right? And connect people to resources. And we do so by doing events, do programs, but above all, I'm extremely passionate about reminding folks that they've been created for a purpose. And we've been blessed, and obviously, as a parent with a special healthcare needs child or individual now, he's no longer a child. Oh, Nicholas, please forgive me. He is going to be 23 this year, and I am still calling him a child. So he's my adult love child, among all the other kids, right? And one of the key things that in walking this journey, I realized is the importance of maintaining faith. And for those who might not know, I'm a woman of faith, so I share my faith and I use that as a mechanism to remind us that God has created us specially for a purpose. And the children that He gives us, whether it's biological or folks that we get to mentor or coach, they're in our lives for a purpose. And our job is to get the correct oxygen, right? Put our oxygen mask on so we can continue to be a blessing to them. So as I was reflecting on the work that we've been doing, back in 2011, God just placed it on my heart for us to extend out our work beyond my goal, our parent organization here. And we started another one called Haven International. So Haven is in Ghana. Haven is since 2011. And the vision there was to really be the center of excellence in providing care and instruction for neurotypical, well, for neurodivergent, that's what we call it now, individuals that need support and extra support. And over the years, we've grown to now get to a place where we want to make it we have made it into an inclusive programming. And we have children all the way from the age of 2.5 and on the up teens of 24, 25 years old, and they're part of our program. We have over 30 plus children and young adults in our program in Ghana. And I'm just so blessed. And I want to just publicly acknowledge Jennifer Dodo Brock, who's our director in Ghana. She's also the co-founder of the organization alongside with Robert and I, as part of our baby child organization under my goal. And over the years, we've seen the organization grow in leaps and bounds. And we just got back from doing a STEAM program. So STEAM is science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics, and also caregiver training. And oh, I didn't even think about it in advance. So, Senna, I don't know if it's any way that we might be able to line it up, but um, we did the STEAM program for the community, and it was an inclusive program and had 80 plus children participate. It was amazing. Amazing because it just fulfilled the dream that I have always had, which is what Haven means, to be a safe place where individuals of all abilities could come together and explore and grow and learn. And that's exactly what happened. We partnered with a company called Makers Depot Academy from New Jersey. They provided information and training. I had my own truly, yours truly, Senna was one of the trainers, and we had women scientists who joined us, and the students had an amazing time. So out of that, we're going to be starting a STEAM club out of Haven. So when I say God is just glorified in the work that we're doing, and it's just, when it says write a vision. So write a vision for what you want for your child and write it down and watch it become a reality. Now, part of the programming there in Ghana is called the Nix Hope Vocational Institute, named after Nicholas, my son, right? So out of the Nix Hope Vocational Institute is where individuals of all abilities are learning skill set that will translate in making a difference in their lives and in the lives of their community. And so I share that to encourage and remind parents watching, listening. It doesn't matter where that child is right now, what they're doing. There's a huge capability in them. And that's something that you just need to think about as you reflect, and don't ever stop short. Don't think of the impossibilities, and it happens. And I came back so filled and so full. And so if I'm bubbling with excitement, it's coming from that place, right? But as I was thinking about what to talk about tonight, I that was one part of it. So of course I'm super excited. So I'll pause here for a minute and I ask you, what are your takeaways from mine is full because I saw it become a haven place and I'm putting you on the spot. As a trainer who was part of the program, Senna, what would you say yours experience? How was the experience for you?
Oh man, the experience, I feel like words can't really describe how awesome it was. I think for me, the biggest thing was seeing how excited all of the kids were and their eagerness to learn. Um, Especially having like in some of my groups, we kind of had done like an inclusive education model. So we had neurotypical students with some of the Haven students, and seeing how excited all the kids were, and being able to see some of the neurotypical students supporting the neurodivergent students and saying, oh, here, like, look at this. So I think that was definitely a highlight for me of not just being able to teach kids new skills, right? Like coding, but being able to see how they benefit from being together with one another in that classroom setting. I think the other thing too was seeing kids getting so excited about STEM. Um, I think sometimes it can be a little bit difficult, especially when you're working with a crowd of kids who may not necessarily be interested in STEM. But these group of kids we were working with, there was like no convincing. They were just so excited to see it. And even if it isn't the career path they want to go down, just knowing that they came to the event and learned and grew from it, I think just was all the validation that I think I needed, and I know the rest of the team who were there needed. So
Yeah, no, thank you, Senna, so much for sharing that. It's just, you when you're in the moment of doing a program, sometimes you just don't get time to process what's happening. It's afterwards when you're reflecting that you realize how transformational it is for even the person who's delivering the service, as well as the people who are receiving it. And one thing that I took away was these are the kids in the community who were in an area where they couldn't afford to be exposed to these type of programming. And yet the confidence that they gained at the end of this was like a 4-hour event, for them to share what they've learned and to display the work that they did and to describe it was such an incredible experience. You just saw kids who came in very shy, very quiet, And at the end of the programming, I was so excited. And to your point, seeing them working and supporting each other was really, really, really incredible. We're sharing this today here because we want parents listening to say, please, please, please expose your children to different opportunities. And out of that, you will see the gem come out of that. I want to welcome Scott. Scott, you joined us in the Zoom room. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Senna and I are sharing our highs from being in Ghana. A it was such an incredible experience. I'm curious if you're able to talk a little bit about what the experience going to Ghana was for you. I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Sorry, I had to run. I had to run out for a minute. Was that me?
Yeah, that was you.
Oh,
I,
I'm sorry.
that's
Just had to
okay.
step out of the room for a minute. So greetings. I'm Scott Cohen, and I had the pleasure of being invited by Haven International and Dr. Kumaplay to come and speak to parents and the teachers at Haven about um, caregivers. So how do caregivers get, what tools are available to caregivers to help them sustain themselves and be successful with their children? So the experience combined with the touring of Ghana was incredibly powerful. And I was just joining tonight because I just still feel so connected, and the experience was so impactful and powerful that I can't let it go. I just decided to join to listen in to rekindle and renew and sort of continue the unbelievable empowerment, benevolence that the whole organization does on behalf of children with autism. So I commend Dr. Kumaplay and her team for the amazing work that they're doing here and overseas. So I'm not going to take airtime from you. I was just
No, no, no. I'm glad you joined it. It just because I was talking about it. It's just the moments in time that are so transformational, right? Is what I was speaking to. Usually once a month we do this program and I try to come up with different topics that I want to talk about. And just a few minutes before I was coming on, I was like, it would be good to kind of share that experience that I just had in Ghana. I go every year, right? And each year has a different meaning. But there was something unique about this experience that I still haven't been able to walk away from. So, Scott, if you could, I know there's 100 things that you're still processing. If you had to say, what is one thing that is just so still on your heart in terms of the experience? And it could be any aspect of it.
I mean, what I've been talking to people about since I've been back is the unbelievable immediate recognition culturally around the sense of community and the strength that that has, that instantaneously you feel when you arrive.
Mm,
And I think I shared this with you that, um, I always notice something immediately when I get to an overseas country. And the thing that I noticed right away was people having cell phones, but nobody having earbuds in their ears. And I've been talking about that a lot because I think that symbolism and sort of the optics of that speaks to something extraordinary in a culture where here we are, we have um, pretty much whatever we want access to, we can get. Of course, socioeconomically, that's not completely true, but there really isn't for want in America and most Western nations. And yet, most Western nations are having challenges with disengagement with community and connection with people. And it's all happening through observation. You just see people at restaurants on the cell phones. You see people texting and not really engaging. And yet in Ghana, what I saw were all different neighborhoods from small villages and remote villages to the city, and probably not so much in the heart of the cities, but people gathering and communicating and being with one another and sort of understanding the incredible power of community. And part of that, I suspect, I can't speak to it, is definitely faith-based, and that plays a role in it. But I think above and beyond faith, It's the sense of we are together as one. And we have it in Latin on our coins, but I don't think we practice it much at all anymore. And that's the piece I've been talking a lot about because I just feel that there's a serious need in this country to get back to the roots of being able to talk to one another and understand each other. And I'm not a big fan of the expression, it's okay to, that we agree to disagree. It's not about that. It's about understanding place and space and where people are and appreciating them for where they are. And any place I've been in the United States where you start having conversations and you sit down and it doesn't become heated, you just have conversation, you move mountains.
Mm.
And it's amazing how little it takes once you start, but that first effort is huge. And in Ghana, it didn't appear to take effort.
Mm.
That was a beautiful thing. And seeing people who have virtually nothing, and
Mm.
I've been to other countries that are similar, that is not a factor about life. It's not even about living simply or with simplicity. It just is the nature of the environment and the ability to manage that and not let that consume you, but rather be the
Mm.
lesser of the need, if you will. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. It's so refreshing to have another person come in and see and experience and feel. And there's certain observations that you made that I just never even paid attention to because you just take it for granted that, of course, that's what it is. Now, of course, obviously, whenever go to Ghana, I switch my brain because I go in there with this mindset that, okay, I'm there to do work. I'm there to be with the team, but it's always so nice to come with another team member and then kind of live the experience through a different lens. And we saw that through our travels, and you are absolutely right. But there was such a shared joy. I was talking about this team day that we had. The joy on the compound and seeing the kids so excited and seeing them learning. And, as, teachers and a dean of students, you get to see students all day long, right? You get
Mhm.
to see them when they're excited. For those of us who are not in the day-to-day of younger kids, but this was something different. There was just something magical about the experience. You started the day and then you end the day and you see how much they've grown and learned. And I think it's almost like it's bring it for me, it almost felt like when you bring a child to Disney World. I'll use that example because when I bring my kids to Disney World and they're like, wow, the things I've been seeing in movies, I get to see it here, right? For some of these kids, it's the wow moment that they had in their eyes that, as someone watching, it really moved me on such a big way. And so tonight, when I was thinking about what to title this conversation, I was calling it Noticing the Unnoticed.
Mhm.
And the idea there is that there's some things that we just never notice. But for the first time, you start to notice it. And you made a very salient point about the earbuds, because I just never paid attention. You're right. People go out to eat and we're having conversation. And it's just that interaction that has been missed, not is seen, and it's become some of the things that we do notice. So it's the heel of coming back, and I'm so glad you were able to join. And there'll be more of these type of programs to kind of debrief, right? And so as we talk to our parents and special needs individuals, we're reminding parents that please take time to notice the things that people go unnoticed about, and it's crucial and it's important, because these are the things that we miss. When we miss taking notice of those things, we miss the opportunity to really reflect on it, how it changes, how impactful. And there was an episode with an Uber driver in Ghana, and I think I may have mentioned that to you, Scott, and it's something that I've been reflecting upon since I came back. And it actually helped me to tie it in together, the experience with the healthcare system in Ghana, right? And I was telling a friend that one of the key things about the healthcare system and sometimes developing countries is that you have to pay for services before you can actually get the service. And in the midst, and I just took it for granted how blessed we are here in the United States that you go to an emergency room. I work in a hospital, so you go into an emergency room, you get taken care of first, and afterwards we worry about the bill. In some of these nations, you get there and you don't get the service until you pay for the service. So in that moment when you don't have the resources, what do you do? Right? And people yet have this optimism that is being described. But there was an episode in the Uber with my Uber driver who was taking me somewhere, and I heard him, speaking in a local dialect about the need to get some money together. And there's just something in me that moved me to say, let me give him some money. And afterwards, I asked him the question. I just felt led to give you this a dollar amount. And for him, to me, it wasn't that significant because it's something I could have bought a meal here in the US. But for this person, it meant the world. And his reaction to this encounter with him moved me. And I think I parked it to the side until I got back because he was so, so, so thankful. He couldn't stop saying thank you. Then I was led to say, God asked me to give you this gift. Is there anything? And usually I do this, and even in the hospital, I was doing that. There was a guy that was holding his jaw, and I'm like, can I pray for that jaw besides the fact that you need some medication because I'm a pharmacist, right? So I asked him, and this Uber driver, and he said, in 2 weeks, my wife has to go for a cesarean. So what he was looking for was trying to work so he can have money in time to be able to pay for the cesarean section for having his first child. That encounter has just shooken me to the core because it's made me realize that we take so much for granted. And yet we have the power to show kindness to people. And every time we have that opportunity, let's do it. Let's not withhold because you don't know what that's going to do for that person. And I was reflecting on that, and it's made me really, really, really thankful that as an organization, we can be a blessing to people, that we can create a space for people to be a part of, that we can extend a hand to someone to say, come join us on this program. Because there's somebody on the other side who feels unnoticed, who's going about their day wondering how things was going to come together, how they're going to make it work out. And we have something that they need, but sometimes we don't extend it. And so I came back recharged and refreshed and excited that we can do more, that we're able to do more. Now, of course, we did the other work with the parents. We did the caregiver training, which was amazing. We did this team. But for me, walking away is this encounter with this Uber driver, because now I am thankful and I'm praying that his wife had the baby by now. And he can have the joy of being able to start a new life that he's been praying for. So he just thought he was just picking up somebody. I just thought that he was just dropping me somewhere. But that encounter has just profoundly changed me, and he's probably changed them, right? So this is where I was still reflecting. I'm like, you noticed the unnoticed. I tuned in to a conversation he was having privately with somebody because the call came in, and he was saying how he needs to mobilize money. So I use this to say that we need to take stock and look for opportunities to show kindness. Look for opportunities to notice those who are unnoticed. And so every time I come in here, I'm like, okay, how do we empower someone? What's a word that we can use? What's a phrase that we can reflect on? And that was for me one part of sharing my experience in Ghana, my experience at Haven. And I just definitely want to acknowledge all the supporters. So we have donors and partners and supporters who make these projects possible. And I want to just say thank you to all of them. I also want to acknowledge those who have supported us with our grant program. So we have a monetary grant program that we are in the process of reviewing. So Sana is the lead for that. And I tell you, Sana, if you can tell me the stats, how many applicants did we have for the grant this year?
This year we had over 300 total applications. It's probably more. I'm still finalizing the count. But we currently have 98 completed applications that our grant committee is reviewing, which is a big jump from last year in which we reviewed, I believe it was like 40 applications. Or it was like 30 something, almost between 30 and 40. So it's almost 2 to 3 times the number of applications that we're reviewing. So we're really excited to get underway with the review process. Our committee is currently reviewing our applications and really excited to, soon enough announce our grant recipients.
So altogether, Sky, guess what? We're going to do it again. 25 families will receive $1,000 each in an amount of $25,000. That is hopefully going to make some families very excited. And it all stems from all the donors and supporters who make it happen. So this is what we do on this side of the pond, right? On the United States front, we provide the grants. And then in Ghana, for those individuals who specifically indicate they want their resources to go there, we do the training that way. So that this way we're able to continue to have an impact globally. So we just wanted, and I share that because we have people who applied, who are waiting to hear. We have a whole rubric, a whole process for review to ensure that there's equity in the process, to just make sure that the right people get the grants. And this is just part of the work. So like I said, as a mission is to provide connections, provide resources, create that, and make that possible for as many people as possible. So I just want to just acknowledge every single person, whether you've attended our events, you've attended our program, you've donated. Truly, 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 it is just really out of a place of joy to be able to connect with families and be able to be a source of encouragement to them. And so as we get to round up in a few minutes, I just try to not make this program very long. I want to just leave you with one word of encouragement. Know that your life matters to someone. And if you're a special needs family, your life matters to the families at My Goal. You count. And I want you to know that because sometimes we need to hear that we matter. We need to just hear that. You need to hear somebody say you matter. And so that's one of the reasons why we exist. So we exist to support families facing autism and other intellectual disabilities throughout our lifespan. And we do that by creating forums like this. We have upcoming events going to be in June. Those are going to be local programming. I'm going to have an upcoming swim event, which is going to be sponsored by My Goal. So if you're in New Jersey, you get to be a part of that. And then we want you to save the date for November 16th is our My Goal Autism Gala event. It's going to be in Edison. It's a fun event. It's a fun event. And one not to be missed. So if you are a part of the My Goal family, please note the date. If there are companies out there that wants to be a part of what we're doing, we'll love you to partner with us, because we know we are a trusted source. So I just want to say thank you again. And Alana, thank you for joining us in tonight. I hope you're blessed. We are so grateful that you could be a part of that. And I think, Fred, thank you for joining us as well, too. And Scott, there's more of stuff to talk about. I am so ever thankful for your work. I shared the Haven video with you, so hopefully you can share that with your networks. Just because what I'm sharing with everybody because we made it on national TV, which was really neat in terms of the work that we're doing. So there'll be more of that to come. And I just want to acknowledge the Haven team, Jennifer and Ellie, Mr. Ellie, and all the wonderful teachers who really, really, really made sure our programming there was excellent. And so for that, we just want to say thank you for joining us tonight. And we will see you next month. So have a good night, everyone.